The harvest kickoff and the end of the age. Leviticus chapter 23 verse 10 Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye have come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted. Notice God said a sheaf of the first fruits. It's not the first fruits of barley harvest that begins the ingathering harvest. It's the sheaf or the omer that comes out of the first fruits. The high priest would take an omer of barley and wave it or heave it before the Lord as an offering, which would begin the harvest. The first fruits barley harvest will be gathered first, then the wheat harvest directly after the first fruits. The harvest of the wheat is a type of the end of the world, when the Lord will use great tribulation to separate the wheat from the chaff and send forth the angels to remove the tares from among the wheat. Matthew 13 verse 30 Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather together first the tares and bind them in a bundle and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. The enemy that sold them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Matthew 13 verse 44 The tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be, and the end of this world. So what does the wave or the heave offering that comes out of the first fruits barley harvest represent? This is the bride of Christ that comes out of the church. This is the escape, the caught up like a football game kickoff. Revelation 12 verse 5 And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God into his throne. The harvest cannot begin until the wave offering takes place. The bride must be caught up before the first fruits, barley. The church can be gathered first in Thessalonians 4 verse 17 Then we which were alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the cloud, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Also note, the barley harvest takes place in the springtime, and the wheat harvest takes place in the summer. So when John the Baptist said in Luke 13:17, Whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor. He will gather the wheat into his garner, but the chaff he will burn up with unquenchable fire. He was speaking of the end of the age, after the bride and the church are gone.